Hey, what's going on? This is Jordan Semro coming at you again with another video on getting started in voice acting. Today, we're going to be tackling the topic of finding your voice. Now, this means putting yourself out there and finding that thing that makes you uniquely you and finding what you can offer to this space that others might not be able to. There's a lot of stuff to go over here, but um, of course, now in my last video and the one previous, I hammered home that voice acting is acting. And I'll continue to say that over and over and over because acting is a vital component to what voice acting is. But let's not discredit that first word in there, voice. Acting is being able to communicate things with people. Now, if you're a stage or a screen actor, you have so many tools at your disposal that will allow you to do that. You have props, you have motion, you've got your facial expressions, your hands, so many things that can get you to connect with your audience. Now, as a voice actor, we have one tool and one tool alone, and that is our voice. So, yes, voice acting is acting, but it's a unique form of acting because we need to be able to do everything that a screen actor or a stage actor can do entirely with only one tool at our disposal, which makes us very unique in that sense. First of all, the reason that there are so many actors and voice actors is because each of them provides something unique to the space. They have their own voice. They have their own sound. They have their own perspective and their own life circumstances that they all bring into whatever performance they're doing. So finding your voice is not just finding what you sound like, but it's finding what you can uniquely bring to the space that others might not be able to. And while your sound is one portion of that, your perspective and your life circumstances, the things that you are bringing in before you even start your performance, that is what you can set yourself apart with. It is your ideas, your performance, your perspective that will set you apart. Now, consider Troy Baker. He's a prolific talent in the voice acting industry. He is in tons of video games to the point that even people who are not into voice acting know his name because of what he's done and because of his wide expanse of work. He's great at what he does. He's an amazing talent. He's got a variety of disciplines. He does mocap and all of this kind of stuff as well. So why isn't he just the voice actor for everything? Everything that you hear with your ears, whether it's radio or television or video games or e-learning or anything, it's not just because he's one man and can't possibly do all of that stuff. It's also because he might not be the right fit for that role that you are auditioning for. You might have something unique that Troy Baker cannot offer because of your perspective, because of the things that you are bringing into that audition. And that's not a slam on Troy Baker saying that he couldn't possibly do this job that I'm doing, and therefore I'm much better than him. No, I am not saying that by any means. But just because he is great at what he does doesn't mean that he is the perfect fit for every role, right? So, something to consider with that is listening to your voice and what makes it unique. There are people that have those classic voices, the deep, resonant radio voice that people think of, but your unique voice is something that I can't do. I might be able to do an impression of X or Y, but it's not the same as having a genuine voice that sounds like Marty McFly from Back to the Future or something like that. What you should consider when you're looking at your voice and your unique qualities of your voice, don't consider what it keeps you from doing. Don't consider the areas that your voice doesn't fit, but find the niche that your voice does fit in and just dive into that. Approach that niche with confidence because there are things that I can't do myself that you might be uniquely qualified to do. Approaching that niche with confidence means that you can own your voice and own that niche and make a name for yourself doing that thing that you are really, really good at. So, like I said, don't think of what your voice keeps you from doing. Think about what your voice enables you to do. When we're looking at voices, there are so many different ways to approach an audition or to lend your voice to a specific script. So there are certain things that you might need a cartoony voice, or you might need to be very expressive, or potentially very monotone, very even keeled. You can have accents in there. You can be believable and conversational. You can be authoritative. You can be commanding. You can be comforting or confident or shy. And notice that all of these things that I listed are not emotions. This isn't just saying I'm going into this and my character is angry or my character is scared or sad. All of these are the foundation on which the rest of your performance is built. So consider what your voice lends itself to and what you'd be able to add to that foundation to bring forth your performance. So, what I've been saying over and over and over here is that you can add your own perspective to whatever role it is you are auditioning for or reading for. In my time with J. Michael Collins as my coach, one thing that he always hammered home was the concept of the weird little car. And what that means is that as we're driving along, on the highway, we are seeing all of these cars that are passing us by. What's going to stand out to you? Is it going to be the 200 Toyota Camrys that you pass? Is it going to be all of the Ford Fusions that you pass? No. The things that you'll notice are going to be those weird little cars, the little BMW i3s, the smart cars, the Nissan Leafs. They're weird little cars, and those are the things that stand out to us. And that's what we can sometimes be as we are auditioning, is standing out from the crowd with our unique perspective and our unique ideas of what we can bring to a role that even if it's not what everybody else thinks, oh, well, of course, this is what it should be, this is what makes you stand out. D. Bradley Baker is a prime example of this. When he was auditioning for the role of Klaus Heisler, the fish on American Dad, the sides actually called for a French accent. And if you're familiar with American Dad, Klaus, I mean, even the name is not a French name. It's a German name. He went in there and he was confident in his choice to actually attack this with a German accent. And that fundamentally changed the character. He made a long-running character completely different because of his unique perspective, his circumstances, his ideas of what this role should be, because he was confident in bringing something different and veering off from that script. This is just a prime example of what we can do to add ourselves into our auditions or into our roles and stand out as that weird little car. The director and the casting director and everybody involved in a production definitely have a vision of what they think the final product should look like or sound like. But that doesn't mean that they're always right. Now, am I saying that anytime that you get a script that's calling for an adolescent female with an Australian accent, you're like, no, I think that this sounds like a Sam Elliott, down south, deep voice of an old man. No, I'm not saying to do that. But in certain circumstances, if you are confident in your choice, then put that out there. Be that weird little car that even if it isn't what the director was looking for, it does stand out and might give them a bit of a tweak in the back of their brain saying, That's actually something I didn't consider, and I really like the direction that they went with that. So, in finding your voice, look at yourself, understand what you can bring to an audition, and find your unique qualities. Don't run away from your unique qualities, either vocally or in your expression or anything like that. Your perspective, and I've said the word perspective, I don't know how many times, but your perspective is unique in this niche in voice acting. So you can provide something that nobody else can, and that is your own vision and your own circumstances that you bring into an audition or into a role. People are not objectively better or worse at voice acting because they got a role and you didn't. But finding those roles that you can fit into and that you can confidently project your perspective into is how you will win jobs and how you will be able to master your voice. Find your niche, find that thing that you are good at and that you can confidently put forward and own it. That's what finding your voice is all about. So, I hope that this has been helpful to you and that it gives you a bit of an idea of where you can go with your performances behind the microphone. And if you did find this helpful, or if you do have questions, more specific questions about trying to find your voice, let me know in the comments below. I respond to everything. I'm a small creator. I've got the time to respond to the couple of comments that are actually down there. And also, if the stuff is interesting to you, or if you want to hear more about this, of course, if you could subscribe, that would be wonderful. It helps me, lets me know that I'm doing something right, and will also hopefully help me stay in your feed so that you'll be able to see more videos in the future. So thank you so much for joining. You are unique and you are awesome, and I hope that you are confident in putting that out there. Bye.